Hello, hello, YouTube. Welcome back to the Lorethrough, episode 121, and we find ourselves at the Divine Tower of West Altus. And of course, true to myself, I completely forgot to check out this place after we defeated Rykard. So we might actually get a little extra lore tidbit that we missed from way back when I was ranting about Rykard. So here we are, another Divine Tower. This Divine Tower has more of those meteor spots, by the looks of it, enshrined up above. Has those weird swirling patterns that, to me, look slightly reminiscent of the work of giants. But, I don't know if we've noticed this before, but it looks like, tablets of writing in these archways. Kinda interesting. And there's more speckly bits all about. Which, it seems that speckly rock beds seem to be associated with meteors in some capacity. I would still like very much to confirm who made the Divine Towers, since we don't really know. We have a few good guesses. If I were to place any money down, it would probably be on the Giants or on the Alabaster Lords, if not a combination of those two. It would be neat if they worked together in some capacity to make something bigger than themselves. But, I bet it was the Giants in some capacity. Who'd they make it for? I don't know, because it seems like even though it's large, it doesn't seem giant-sized. Even trolls would have a hard time, crawling through those narrow passages. But yet, it looks like their handiwork. We have a grace here at the top. It's always this strange... I don't want to call it sepia, but it's this fog that's about, this golden fog that tends to be around these upper areas on the Divine Towers. It's almost like when Hollywood has a long-running show, or any show really, and then they travel to Mexico in the live-action show, and for some reason Mexico has a slightly orange or yellow filter. It's what it reminds me of. But here we have Rykard's rune. There it is, Rykard's Great Rune. So let's take a look at that and see what it has to teach us. Rykard's Great Rune. A great rune of the Shardbearer Rykard. Its blessing restores HP upon defeating enemies. Rykard was amongst the children of Rennala and Radagon, who became demigod stepchildren after Radagon's union with Queen Marika, but Rykard fed himself to the blasphemous serpent, Great Rune and all. So nothing we couldn't already put together ourselves, but there it is in writing. Rykard did feed himself to the Great Serpent, Great Rune and all. And there's another set of these two fingers, which means we've met many of these two fingers. Let's do a brief count. Let's see, the Divine Tower of Aeonia has Ronnie's corpse. So we have Limgrave, Caelid, not Liurnia, West Altus, and East Altus. So that's 4 so far. And there's a good chance there's another one out here in the ocean. Though I don't think we've figured out the way to get to it just yet. I think the way is barred, actually, until we get a little farther. Okay, things to do now. I think we're going to go visit Gowry really fast. And see if he has anything more to say about Millicent before we head back to the Haligtree. Yeah, that seems like a thing we'll do. Oh, I'm heading the wrong way. And I'm getting pelted because I'm not paying attention. Here we go. Off we go to see what Gowry's up to. Probably nothing. He's probably still sitting in his chair, arms splayed outward awkwardly. As he does. With his strange, pale, and pockmarked face. His dog with the collar, unique dog. Of all the T-Rex dogs in the game, it's the only one with a collar that I remember. Maybe there's other ones in the mountaintops of the Giants that have collars, but I could be mistaken.
Ah, welcome, welcome. How may I help?
Okay, I gave Millicent the prosthesis.
So, you gave Millicent a golden arm replacement. This is a wonderful development. Thank you for your kindness. Now, Millicent may fully realize her true warrior's potential. Like her beautiful mother.
Okay, like her beautiful mother, he says specifically. which, if it wasn't already clear, it seems that Millicent is the offspring of Melania, though it doesn't seem like a direct offspring. There's no spouse, no regular procreation that we're aware of. It seems that she is the result of budding from the sprout of the bloom of Aeonia. But let's ask about Millicent some more.
The girl, Millicent, she is a bud.
See?
Green and undeveloped, waiting to flower into magnificence. What a wondrous day that will be. In truth, before her, I'd never seen a bud of such superior quality. She might very well outshine her sisters.
So sisters is plural. We've only met Pollyanna, who helped us with the Commander Nile fight last time we were here in Caelid in force, when we had to get that golden needle originally, if you recall. But let's ask about what Millicent said.
Oh, Millicent. Finding herself, is she? The words of a true innocent, the dear girl. Well, perhaps this is just as it should be. Little Millicent following in the steps of her mother, no matter what. This is their fate, after all. Do you...
Okay, I don't think he has anything else to say to us right now. Oh, we can get the pest threads incantation. Incantation of the Servants of Rot. Secretes countless sticky threads, launching them forwards. A technique of the pale pests who crawl through the lands afflicted by scarlet rot. The abandoned children of the goddess. Quote, do you have an interest in rot incantations? Close quote. Kind of interesting.
Do you have an interest in rot incantation?
I just said that.
Then you might like to learn something of the history of Melania, goddess of scarlet rot.
Well, now we can ask about Melania, so good that we bought that. That's the first time that I can recall that buying a specific incantation leads to a new prompt. That's kind of neat. So buy that for some lore.
Queen Marika and her king consort Radagon were blessed with twin demigods, and Melania was one of them. She was born an Empyrean carrying the scarlet rod.
So she was born with
An
it.
Empyrean is no mere demigod. In the age of the Elden Ring and Queen Marika, the precious Empyrean was born, a new god to forge a new order. Since Melania fought Radahn, and the great scarlet flower blossomed in Aeonia, I have dedicated myself to her, and to the resplendence of the Order of Rot, the cycle of decay and rebirth.
And he gives us the desperate prayer emote. So, kind of interesting. He is a servant of rot, and he's hoping for all of this to come to fruition.
Do you...
Kind of interesting. I don't really have too much to comment on that at present, but I think more pieces will fall into place and I can go on a more proper rant. I'm going to go to the front menu and reload the game just to see if he has anything else upon leaving and coming back, because I swear he had a little more to say. But he might have more to say once we get farther in Millicent's questline, so I could be absolutely 100% wrong.
well...
Okay, so that's all he has to say for now, and we will head back to the Haligtree and continue our trek, though at some point I'm going to need to go back to the sewers, in a sense, and show off the end of the Dung Eater's questline, because we got more of those seedbed curses. We'll have to go to an alternate timeline, of course, to show that off, but we will do so nonetheless. Okay. Okay, we have a handful of no good, rotten Crystallians down here, and they're not even noticing the damage. Does that mean I could drop it more in the middle and hit them all? That might be too far. Huh. This feels bizarrely cheap. Can I anger that one, at least? Come on. There we go. Doesn't do too much to her, I suppose. Get her stamina back since we wasted an awful lot of it. The health bars are commingling. I can't tell what's going on. There we go. That'll do more significant damage. I should probably be using not this weapon. I was holding on to it to remind me that I needed to go in Reichard's tower. Do I have anything that does blunt? This will have to do. Come on. Come on. It's a difficult surface to parry on. The range is thrown off my... thrown everything off. Come on. Oh. It's not what we want at all. You're not dead. Ooh. Ooh, that's not good. Not good at all. Ooh, an item dropped. Really? Big ol' fat nothing? Oh, she can't shoot this low. At least I think it's a she. There we go. So we got a rotten crystal spear, and in the treasure chest, we got a rotten crystal sword. So let's look at them crystal items, because I already got a spear earlier. Didn't think I'd grab another one, but here we are. So the spear fashioned from pure crystal, a deed impossible for a human. It festers with scarlet rot. So it seems interesting that even inorganic things can be corroded and infected with the scarlet rot. Enwreathed with powerful magic, its attack scales with intelligence. It says that it's really a dex weapon with an int requirement. The staff, kind of the same deal. It's a little worse at casting than the regular crystal staff, but this one has rot. I don't really see a purpose in it being rot infused other than if you smack somebody, it does a little bit of rot to them. And then the rotten crystal sword, just like the other crystal sword we got way back in Aeonia, but this one does a little less damage and has rot infused in it. It's a strength weapon with an int requirement, essentially. Yeah. Okay, and we can stuff all those in the box, so I don't have to see them again. Not a whole lot to them, other than it teaches us something about the rot if we didn't already know. I think that's the item we want. Okay. Keep moving forward. Probably cast that way too early. We're probably going to lose them, because I'm a huge dummy. We can crouch to save them, that's funny. So we have another one of these kind of baptismal font looking things, and we are surrounded by even more moth eggs. And a big old basin, a hero's rune. Does the 5th hero's rune have a unique lore description? I doubt it, but we'll check. Yeah, no, it just talks about heroes who walk the battlefields abundantly blessed by the Erdtree itself, who upon earning their honor simply died. Makes you wonder why they are allowed to die and they didn't participate in the endless cycle of rebirth. Maybe the Erdtree thought they were a tasty morsel and decided to keep their rune count. Not sure. The Erdtree seems to be hinted at being parasitic, though, in some capacity. Just a smidge. Especially because it was grafted into the Erdtree. Okay. Did I have any comments about all these basins and stuff? Around Elphael, which is the name of the fortress, it seems, around the Haligtree, right? We find these baptismal fonts, right? And around them we see these cocooned bodies. This seems like a major deviation from the baptism we may have found in Lanedale if you're allowing this crackpot theory. Is this a baptism of adults as opposed to children? Not sure. The shapes seem to indicate that they are adults, adult Albinaurics, at least in the ones that we can distinguish the shape of. And if so, then these are beings who are already divorced from the rebirth cycle of the Erdtree. Let's see. The early cocoons around the Haligtree seem to be first-generation Albinaurics based upon their relative shape. We don't see any adult forms or most let's see. We don't see any adult forms or most metamorphosis beings. The cocoons look like those belonging to the Bombix mori moth, which require human intervention to hatch due to thousands of years of selective breeding. So that could explain why they are just here, left alone, with no one to tend to them. They will likely never hatch. Did Moog's abduction of Mikola halt the metamorphosis process he was involved in, as well as all these others? Okay. Yeah, kind of sad that only a handful of first-generation Albinaurics seem to have made it to the Haligtree thus far. Let's see, in my notes. Some of the first-generation Albinaurics made it to the Haligtree, only further cocoon metamorphosis to be halted by Moog's abduction of Mikola, if we continue with that train of thought. The second generation of Albinaurics, wanting to follow their patron, Lord Mikola, follow him along with Moog to the Mogwin Palace. Yeah, that's what I wanted to point out as well, is that those wanting to follow Mikola, they may have seen Moog departing the Haligtree, because we saw that portal in the consecrated snowfield, if you recall. And so some Albinaurics may have followed Mikola that direction and just kind of sunk their law in with Moog as a consequence of that. All right, very good. I did the wrong button. I hit the guard button because paired weapons, most of the time you hit L1 to attack, but if it's a single weapon that's paired, then it's R1 is the double attack. Just want to pull that out for a moment there. It's probably a bit excessive. Oh. Ooh, pest threats. Stick that on there. Oh, I think they nerfed... Actually... Okay, so I'm recording this and patch 1.10 has just happened in the real worlds or what have you. And it's a patch that nerfed Bloodhound Step as well as Quick Step. However, it didn't... I don't think it nerfed their overall distance. I think what it nerfed... specifically, I don't want to use that. Is it nerfed the amount of iframes that you get while using it? It may have just nerfed it for PvP. I couldn't tell you. I think it is just PvP. Okay, and look, the Haligtree goes all the way down to the base there. Kind of interesting that the Haligtree is hollow, essentially. We have entered the Haligtree proper. And here we see more of these figures in the fine stonework facing the Haligtree. It seems to be that standing figure that we saw before, but more detail is here, and we see surrounded by bodies crammed together, kind of awkwardly. The only other place we see bodies kind of like that, other than moldering piles of bodies, like intentional symbolism, is catacomb dungeons all throughout the lands between. It's on the doors, and it's of course in the root system that we see. So we're gonna run over here, and I'm gonna grab the Grace because we need to come back here. Oh baby, do we need to come back here? But I want to have this teleport because it's very nice. And you know what? We're gonna rest here. Might as well have all of our faculties. And oh, is there something I ought to have? I want Explosive Ghost Flame, but maybe not for this. Oh, it sure would be nice to have a proper Did we never go learn the flame incantations from Muriel? Oh, that's a mistake. We're gonna go rectify that right away. Right away. I probably read their descriptions and then just didn't buy them in the moment, being a distracted fellow as I am. Because we're gonna want some hefty fire damage for something that's up and coming. Mogwin's Spear does fire damage. Oh, Muriel,
Greetings.
our good buddy who helps us with lore recaps. There they are. Giant's flame take thee, and flame fall upon them. Yeah, we'll give those a shot. I don't know how good they'll be. They're probably going to be okay. And I think we're going to delete all of these. And we're going to grab Giant's flame take thee as well as... Huh. Is there another one I'm missing? Where do you get the firestorm? Huh. I'm trying to remember where we get it's Chaos Storm in the other Souls games. Right? But where do we get... Goodness, it's another spell I want to show off because it's very useful for a very particular thing that's coming up, right? And I'm just kind of scratching my head. Trying to remember where we get it. I think it's called Burn O' Flame, and it looks like a bunch of pillars. I think we get it from the Remembrance of the Fire Giant, actually, unironically. Alright. Because I don't think we're going to use the Giant's Braid Talisman. Let's go get one of those suckers. Don't mind me. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Oh, should have known. Should have known. I need to... There's a practice that I kind of want to get into. And it's the practice of when I'm making a build. Going about and running to all the places and grabbing the things specifically for the build as opposed to what I normally do, which is just grab everything. And I feel like if I build a couple characters that way, I'll remember where things are more specifically. As opposed to just knowing I should need and ought to have a thing. I think I went to the inner wall. I need to go to the drainage channel. That's on me. There we are. So now we can investigate the other side of that root system. And I can show off some funny incantations. I don't think I'll change my physic, actually. Stance breaking, though. That could be helpful. We'll see how well I do. This could all turn into a grand mistake. Very prone to it. But after you get past the brace of the Haligtree, it feels like the Haligtree really narrows in terms of content and paths. At least difficulty. I feel like you just have this rot pit, you have a couple pests. Not too much. And as you can see, there's a tasty item in the pit there. Oh boy, I don't like this part. That's okay. It's not for me to like, it's for you to be entertained. Alright. Whew, that was 1,300 damage, and I'm so glad. It did a little more damage. Oh, shucks. How did that hit me? Oh, it seems a little randomized. So if you're not a fan of that randomization of damage, it may not be for you. Burnout Flame is pretty good for big enemies, especially if you can get right on top of them. Ooh, that was like 5,000 damage. So like I said, a little inconsistent. Yeah, I'm gonna drink another one just to be safe. Oh, that Frostpot did 2k. Shucks. Whew. Ooh, we're just kind of dodging the darn thing now. There we go. Yeah, I guess that is kind of a consequence of being overleveled, but you've seen me fight dozens of those things. You're not missing out. Okay, dozens is a little much. Like, I've probably fought like 5 or 6. A half dozen, if you will. But, the legendary item down here is a tasty, great grave glovewort. We only have 5 healing. Okay, should be fine. Alright. So we're going to go up here, and we're going to show off... Yes, so we have the choice to either assist Millicent or to challenge Millicent. And you know what? I feel like Gowry's supposed to mention something here. We're going to go talk to him one more time. We just gotta. I gotta know. Nice thing is that the ulcerated tree spirit doesn't come back, so getting back to that point will be very simple. But I'm pretty certain Gowry says something once we're presented with a choice. But we can assist or hinder her. Gonna intentionally avoid the dog. I've had it kill Gowry before. He comes back, so it's not a big problem. Interesting. It's like we have to kill the ulcerated tree spirit and glance at the summon signs without touching them, and he changes.
Oh, I didn't notice you there. Welcome. How may I help you? My apologies, though. You hardly needed to see me like that.
Why are you crying?
Oh, it's just... I realized that I'd soon be saying my goodbyes to Millicent, and my eyes began to well. She is to meet them very soon, her sisters, and when she does, she'll be defeated, surely, and begin to flower.
Become a flower?
Which is why, if you happen to be present for the girl's fight with her sisters, I ask that you side with the sisters and kill Millicent. It must be done by your hand, no other. Millicent trusts you, rather deeply in fact. Sever that trust. Nurtured by betrayal, her bud will flower most vividly. When Malenia ascends to godhood, Millicent too shall be reborn as a Scarlet Valkyrie.
So apparently she'll be reborn as a Scarlet Valkyrie, much like her mother is a sort of Scarlet Valkyrie.
You can't tell me you don't wish to see it? The superior bud that is Millicent becoming the finest of flowers? I beg of you, kill her with your own 2 hands. You can't tell the superior...
Okay, so he repeats it. I think it's funny how he can repeat the question and he elaborates a little bit. It's kind of funny. Like, become a flower? And he's like, yeah, of course, it's what we all want, right? And you're like, become a flower? He's like, come on, you want to see it too, don't ya? Don't ya? But, in the proper timeline, we're going to go help Millicent. That's what we're going to do. We will, however, hop to the alternate timeline and see what it looks like when we go against her. And the rewards are different. funny enough. We will get in there. And we will help out Millicent against her various foes. I should have probably switched my spells back. I could use these spells for another thing coming up, but I feel like it'd be a little more cheating then than now. But I digress. That is not for this episode. I'll burn that bridge when I get there. Probably not with fire, though. Okay. Okay, so we have the choice to be summoned to challenge Millicent and be summoned to assist Millicent. So let's get ready our combat gear. I don't know, I feel like we might be able to see some crits coming on. That might be fun. Might be fun indeed. Probably don't need that on there. Don't plan to be using them incantations. As for weapons? Oh. I don't know. I feel like it'd be awful fitting if we brought the Moonlight Greatsword. Well, if we're using the Moonlight Greatsword, gotta use the Alpenuric Shield. I feel it looks a little better. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll give that a go. We might live to regret it, though. Okay. Be summoned to assist Millicent, and this could take a couple tries. Because Millicent is there, and there are 3 sisters to challenge her. Whew. Come on, Millicent, hold on a little longer. Oh, I rolled the wrong way. Ah. I died that time. I think it'll just send me back so I can try again. Moonlight Greatsword fun and all. Don't know if it's a good partner to have with a casting implement. It's not normally my pick necessarily. It's okay. We'll give it another go. Yeah, because it puts us right here. I feel like being classic. Well, Sword Knight Flame's not as classic. I'm tempted to carry a Knight Sword, but I think we'll use Sword Knight and Flame specifically. Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, shucks. The damage was gnarly. It's quite the intense fight, and I think that's deliberate. I'm fine with it being that way. Maybe. Straight sword's kind of funny, though. There's just so much to focus on. Do I like straight sword? We'll give it one more go as with the straight sword. They all have a lot of HP too, though. I feel like I need something a little more monstrous. She killed one, so we just need to buy her time, it seems like. Oh, Pollyanna, she's the one who's helped us before. We need help from Millicent, though. I shouldn't have attacked. That's on me. Dang it, we were close. I feel like the big old flame attack on the Sword and Night Flame is really good at pulling their attention. Along with the frost pots, just kind of hit them. Oh, she succeeded. I just died. That's funny. Maybe we'll do something a little funnier. Try something that combos. I have my magic buff, though. Kind of a shame. There's some rather silly solutions in here. We'll try... What's our harder hitting dagger? See, this thing does 429. 419. I think we will use this dagger. That'll be funny. We'll do this. This should be a little more robust of a combination. Though I did like the Night and Flame. Oh, jeez. Oh, thank you, Millicent. You bought me the time I needed. Okay, we did better that time. Big sweeping weapons and Storm Stomp spies Millicent all the time she needs. And as you can imagine, Millicent is terrifying to fight against. She really is the best of the lot of them. Though the others had numbers on their side for sure. So we helped her out. It took a couple tries, and we get the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia. Take a look at that. Talisman depicting a raised prosthetic blade, an honor bestowed upon the Valkyries who serve the goddess of Rot. Greatly raises attack power with successive attacks. So it's better than the regular sword talisman. In fact, you can see that they look a little bit similar, right? Almost like one is well, honestly, I would say one is the rotted version of the other, but this one obviously has a little bit different of a back panel. Panel's probably the wrong word. The back part of the talisman, not the sword and arm part, seems to be a slightly different shape and design. Intentional is what I'm trying to say. Obviously shares a likeness, but this isn't a corroded version of the other is my point. The four sisters were born in the swamp of Aeonia and came to the Haligtree under the aegis of Gowry, and yet those buds were doomed to never blossom. And let's go see what she has to say. Good old Millicent.
Oh. Hello. Thank you for lending your hand. Without your help, I could not have defeated that quartet. I feel as if I've been in your debt from beginning to end. Thank you. With your help, I was able to live as my own person, if only in passing. But this is where things end. I paused to even tell you, but I took out the needle myself. Tell whoever put you up to this that if I am to flower into something other than myself, I would rather rot into nothingness as I am. Please, let me pass alone. The scarlet rot writhes now, worse than ever. Soon, I won't be more than a mound of flesh, curse-laden. Untouchable. I wouldn't want such a thing to bring you harm.
So she trusts us at the very end, and thankfully, we proved trustworthy.
Please. The scarlet soon curse-laden.
But
I wouldn't want such a...
She seems to be little more than rot personified at this point because she has removed the needle. I mean, to be fair, she was born of the rot. Molded by it. Okay. So we're going to quick game and reload to get the end of her little quest line, and then we're going to hop characters. and see the other part of the quest line. There she is, unfortunately, and she's got the rot particles waving off of her. And here we find the unalloyed gold needle. Well, let's read the thing on that, the description. An intricately crafted needle of unalloyed gold, removed by Millicent from her flesh, bears no trace of befouled blood, but it is faintly moist with dew. There is something I must return to Melania, the dignity, the sense of self, that allowed her to resist the call of the scarlet rot. So this must be the dignity, the sense of self that allowed her to resist the scarlet rot. So she was trying to get all this way, not to inspire her mother of sorts, but rather to give her the needle that might help her claim her sense of self. So perhaps we can complete that, but let's go yell at Gowry really fast. And then we'll swap characters. Is this episode going long? Yes. Why? Because I'm bad. And 4v2 is kind of rough. Though to be fair, Millicent has that strange ability that on her Shamshir that we don't have. The one that lets her float in the air and slash every which place indiscriminately. And it works really well on the sisters, probably because they have awful armor. They're all wearing really light outfits. All of them were pretty easy to stumble. But they could input read like none other.
Oh. Millicent, my daughter, why would you take out the needle? You were so close, so very close, to becoming the fairest of all flowers. Would you disown us, too, as your mother did? We children of the scarlet rot.
Besides Millicent and her sisters, the only other children of the Scarlet Rot we're aware of are the pests. And to be fair, he sold us the pest threats. And in fact, when you look at his head, it's kind of got that backwards shape like a pest. Is he the strange human personification of a pest?
Millicent, Melania, do you detest us so utterly? Millicent, Melania, do you detest...
Okay. I feel like that's not the end of his questline. We might have to come back after we've finished the Haligtree. He might have a little more for us then. But I'm gonna reload just in case.
Millicent, Melania, do you detect...
We're gonna let him go for now. We might kill him later, but not now. We're gonna hop characters. I kept saying we would. Here we are. We're gonna do it. Because I've prepared another character and gotten them up to that point, and we're gonna pick the bad option. I didn't mean to hit continue. Oh, that's on me. Small brain and all that. Yeah, he's still there. Silly Gowry. We foiled his plans, his Saturday morning cartoon villainy has been put to rest. Okay. And we're gonna head over to the exact same place where we disappointed Gowry, the drainage channel. We're gonna go instead try to fight Millicent, 'cause now we are evil. And that's just kind of how it is. Oh, the pests have so much more health on this new game cycle. I forget what new game this character's on, but he's gone through a few. He's probably on new game plus 3 or 4 or something. Not the highest by any means, but it sure seems like a lot. So now we are going to hinder her. I think we also need to look at the spot. Not yet. There's Millicent. Oh yeah, we only get one helper this time. Also, she swings a shamshir like other people swing a katana. It's kind of interesting. I don't want to get in the rot. Sorry, Millicent, darling.
How could you? Is this your true heart? Was it all for this?
That's rather heartbreaking. I don't like that dialogue. And we get her prosthesis instead. Part of the golden prosthesis used by Millicent, the hand is locked into a fist that once raised a sword aloft, boosts dexterity and raises attack power with successive attacks. The despair of sweet betrayal transformed Millicent from a mere bud into a magnificent flower, and one day she will be reborn as a beautiful scarlet Valkyrie. And do we not get her needle? We may not get her needle. So the needle has another use that we will go into in the next episode, but let me reload this area real fast just to be sure. Just to make sure there's not a thing to pick up. It could be gone. It could be that we don't get it. Yeah, it's not here. That's funny. So if you needed the alternate use for that needle, you're kind of toast by ditching Millicent. Kind of interesting how if you give Millicent her redemption, you can get one of your own. That's foreshadowing there, folks. Okay, now let's go talk to Gowry now that we've fulfilled his wishes on this particular character. I wish Gowry had his own grace. I hate having to pick a grace, and they're both about equidistant from him anyways. I didn't mean to sit down. Episode's going on long enough, as is. There we go. Silly swamp of Aeonia. And see how his dialogue changes. It ought to be different. It better be different. Also, if it wasn't clear, the Millicent prosthesis and the Valkyrie talisman, the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, Millicent prosthesis, they do similar things. The Rotten Winged Sword Insignia is a little better at giving you damage per when you get repeated hits, but they both do it and they stack. And the Millicent prosthesis gives you 5 points of dexterity, right? And as a consequence, on this character, I'm able to use the Eokai's Dancing Blade, charge it up, and the repeated hits hit harder the more I hit. And it puts the AR at like well over 1,000 for a moment. Or had I checked it sooner, probably would have said something silly like 1,500 or whatever. And here Gowry is. And we get the Phlox Canvas Talisman and the Gowry's Bell Bearing. So I think in the main timeline we can kill Gowry to get those items, but let's take a look at the Phlox Canvas Talisman. A talisman bearing an icon that depicts a mass of masked figures, greatly raises potency of incantations. The figures represent the Phlocket prayer, their firm belief in the intangible inspiring even the solitary founder of their religion. What is faith if not an affirmation? Okay, well, that's going to be it for episode 121. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.